Yes, yes.
No, I didn't know you were filming.
Yeah, I'm filming. What would you like?
Can I maybe get some shoes?
Shoes? Sure, you can have whatever you want. Please
Alright,
just go.
awesome.
Okay, love you. I want to talk to you guys today about hair, being a hairstylist, the service industry. I've been in the industry for 20 some odd years, 23 years, almost 24. So when I start to share my story with you, it may come off as a rant. There's going to be many things that pop up in my head that are going to sound negative, but they're not. They're not. They're observations from a stressed, overworked brain that drinks too much coffee or something like that. So here goes nothing. I even brought in my hairstylist cup, a gift from a client. I would never buy myself a hairstylist cup because I already know I am one. Most people that do this occupation love it. Just the motion, the movement of the hair, soothing on its own. And then when you get a specific rhythm with the way your hands work together, the way the scissors move, the hair flying, it's magical. We love it so much that we could do it for free. And guess what? Most of us do. When you're talented with a particular skill set, people just think, why can't I get it for free? Not all people. Hell, just yesterday, I had somebody email transfer me money. I'm not even working right now. Side note, that doesn't mean that I expect anybody to send me money. But if you want to, I mean, I can't stop you. So when you're a small child in a 50, almost 47-year-old body, you approach things with passion and you don't think. Okay, that's the way I approach. I don't think. When I started in this industry, it wasn't something that I had wanted to do since I was young. It was something that seemed like the best idea at the time. I seemed to have a certain inclination to be able to apply makeup and apply makeup well. So it was actually my mother that suggested I go to school for hair. Sure, why not? When I was going to hair school, I was on my own with my daughter. I lived in a small town and my hair school was about an hour away. So I didn't have a car and I needed to receive assistance because I had a baby. So they told me I had to move out on my own in order to receive assistance, which I didn't know that time. I thought that's really stupid. All I need is like a couple $100 a month, that's it. But no, if I move out on my own, then I'm gonna need more. So I go to find a place and I found one. I'm probably in there for about a week and my mom calls me and she's like, hey, did you know you're in a red light district? No, I don't even know what a red light district is. Well, let me tell you, I found out for the next 6 months and it was interesting. It was actually fun, scary at times. There was a feeling of accomplishment. You know, when you were a little bit self-conscious about being a single mother on welfare, you knew that had a certain stigma to it. So when I would go to school and I would learn and I would show some sort of, you know, natural talent or whatever you want to call it, it just made me realize that this was temporary, you know, that I'm going to do good things, that I'm going to be somebody. I loved it. I mean, I was at one of those schools that I probably spent more time getting my teachers dry cleaning than actually in class, but my teachers were awesome. They were down to earth. I mean, any school, you learn the basics and then you get out in the real world and, you know, you kind of have your eyes opened But from day one, I knew that it was my thing. I entered competitions when I was younger, and I would brag about them, but they're probably kind of lame now, but I did well. I think the thing that I love the most is the people I've met, the people I'm still working with, the people along the way. Because hairstylists are a different sort. I mean, you have to be. Think about it. Generally, we work at least 12 hours a day. And when I say at least, I'm not joking. 12 to 14 hours on your feet. There'd be days I'd get in the car and I would think, I didn't pee today. That can't be good. The perception of what we do is really funny to me sometimes. When I tell people how much my scissors are or how much my courses are, they look at me like, what? Really? And I'm like, yo, I am 2 feet away from you with scissors. I could literally take your life right now. I think it's a good idea that there's a little bit of education behind me, don't you? The average hairstylist takes about anywhere from a half an hour, which that's not me, to an hour on a haircut. What you don't know going in is that the haircut is only a very small fraction of that whole service. I've had people tell me some of the deepest, darkest secrets. Some of them were heavy. Some of them I didn't know what to do with. Some of them I could sympathize. Some of them made me angry. But you're never really prepared for that. Nobody tells you the amount of psychology that you have to deal with on a daily basis. Nobody tells you anything about energy. The fact that you are standing over somebody's head. You're in their energy. Nobody tells you how to protect yourself from that. I bet you half the hairstylists I know don't even know that that's a thing. I didn't learn that till about 5 years in. So you have to learn to compartmentalize, because you've got, depending on how fast you work, eight different energies in your chair every day. 8 different people, 8 different circumstances. Not everybody wants to sit in their hairstylist chair and have a therapy session, but I will tell you the majority of people do. Because of our nature and who we are and what we subconsciously realize that we set ourselves up for, we want to be able to give that to you. The service industry works like this. If you have an individual come into your place of work and you are to perform a service on them, there has to be a reciprocation. If this person comes in and they have a wall up and you come in to do your work, you're just going to keep hitting that wall. You are not going to make this person happy. You are going to feel unfulfilled as a service provider. It's going to question everything that you do for a living, all of your skill set, everything you've learned, who you are as an individual, what you bring to the table. As soon as somebody opens up to me and says, this is what I like, what do you think? That shows me that they are going to reciprocate. But this is the hard part, okay? We do stand for something. We have an opinion. Yes, you're paying us, but it's our work. When you walk out that door, our name is attached to your head, at least for the first 2 weeks. So if we do a really good job, that's awesome. But also if we fuck up, we're accountable. I'm the type of hairstylist, I like to take my time. You know why? Because whatever I do to you for the next hour, you have to live with for the next 6 to 8 weeks. So if I fuck up because you rushed me, you're gonna blame me. You're gonna get angry at me. And besides, I'm not gonna feel good about myself. I take my job very seriously. Too seriously, sometimes. I've lost clients because I take my job so seriously. Biggest pet peeve. Biggest pet peeves. I've got a few. Please don't cut my hair too short. It'll make me look fat. My husband likes it long. Well, guess what, husband? I would like it a little longer too, but I am stuck with what you got, so I have this haircut that I really like, but when I wake up in the morning, will it look exactly like this? Because I don't want to work at it. I like the length, but I want to change. I just don't want layers. What can you do? When my clients are late, I don't give a shit. I don't. Because most of the time, I'm behind anyways. So if I'm not behind, maybe I got a break. That's lovely, because that doesn't always happen. I think most clients, especially at this point in my career, if they are too late where I can't perform the service, a lot of them understand. You know, I used to have this reoccurring dream. I haven't had it in a long time, but then again, I haven't been working in a long time. Thank you, quarantine. I just couldn't get to my client. Like, they'd be sitting in my chair and I'd go over and I'd start to work on them, and then I would have to leave because something else was happening, and then I'd come back and they'd be gone. I couldn't find them. So then I had to run around the salon and try and find them. And then once I found them and I told them, you gotta come back to the chair, and then my next one comes in and they're waiting. I mean, it would go on and on and on. And I'd wake up and I'd be like, oh, thank God. And sometimes I wouldn't wake up because I wasn't dreaming. Time. Oh, guys, like, look at this. See this? I found this at a store. And it says, it's hard to see, but it says, always late. See that? Always late. I discovered this a little later in the game, okay? Finally, I went, it's my thing, okay? It is my fucking thing. And it doesn't mean I expect everybody to wait for me. It means I book more time per client. And when I was self-employed, it was really easy to do that. And you know what? If I lost a couple bucks in the meantime, it was worth my sanity. At the end of the day, I wasn't as tired, I wasn't as stressed. And then I got a sign. And this isn't my only sign. I have a few. Always late, but worth the wait. Yes, yes. Food. Food's something we don't get. Oh, and look at me. They call this a shadow root. I call it quarantine hair. And I like it. This is the longest my hair's ever been. You know, it's funny. The whole hair thing. What is this thing with long hair and men? I mean, I do kind of get it, because I've had the question for so long that I think I started to actually try and understand it from a not so jaded point of view. I had one client where her husband, at first I was a little worried because he had to sit right beside her when she got her hair done. You know, we were in this big salon, and he pulled the chair up and he's watching. He goes, you don't mind that I watched, do you? And I said, no. Not at all. But as the conversation got going, you know, maybe she had anxiety and he knew this, and he was just being a good partner and helping her. It was my first time cutting her hair, so we talked about what we were gonna do, and then, she had long hair. And then he says, you sure, babe? You sure you don't wanna go shorter? And I looked at him and I was like, really? He's like, well, yeah, I mean, she's gorgeous, look at her. I mean, she looked great in shorter hair, but I mean, it's up to her. That was new to me. Quarantine's been funny. You know, a lot of people tried to support me when we went back to work. Some people were fine. And then other people, I know that they just came to my chair because they were trying to support me. They understood that my industry was taking a huge hit and they care about me. And, you know, it was evident in the conversation, and it was evident in the way they would look around the salon, making sure that people are following protocol, very concerned about their mask. They were scared, you know. I'm watching so many salon owners struggle right now. It's a hard industry to be in right now. It's not the only one, but the struggle is real. What are we going to go back to? I think my favorite part about being a hairstylist is when somebody brings you a picture and you recreate it to a certain likeness that just blows the client away. Because let's face it, everybody goes to their job every day and does their thing. And a lot of people don't get to see what that thing is. They don't get to see the process. They don't get to see the creation of it. It's just as relevant, it's if not more. When you go to get your hair done, you can sit there and you can watch somebody create something. You don't know how they're doing it or why they're doing it a certain way. But as you start to feel the momentum of what they're doing, and then you see the finished result, it's such a great feeling. It's so satisfying. That's my favorite part, I think. Social media has redefined our industry as well as many others. Cutting is about texture, movement, shape, architecture, you know, building, taking away. And coloring is a lot of chemistry. Most of you watching this video probably have had some sort of an experience, whether it's been on yourself or a loved one, where you've heard the person go in, this is what I'm going to ask the stylist to do for me today. And it is blonde, brunette, rainbow color, whatever it is. When you're dealing with hair color, you have to understand it's not a one-size-fits-all type of procedure. It just isn't. People don't listen, you know? I find it extremely frustrating to have the same question over and over again from the same client over a number of years as to why they can't have something. I've been able to make magic in my chair. I know that because I've had clients literally tell me, write me letters telling me, write me texts telling me. So I know I'm capable. I don't want to not give you what you want. If I give you what you want, my day is better and your day is better. Sometimes I don't have the capacity, and I'm very honest about that. I had a client one time that asked me if I could specifically cut her hair the way she wanted me to cut her hair. And I knew that that didn't work. But I wanted to be able to try. I wanted to, you know what, maybe if I just tried, you know, it's what you want. Maybe it's not what I want to give you, but I loved having her in my chair. So I did it. I think it was the last time I cut her hair. There's that little part of me that just said, like, why would you let somebody manipulate this? You went to school for this. You took the courses. You spent thousands of dollars on courses. Your employer has spent thousands of dollars on courses for you to be the best that you can be. And you knew it wouldn't work. Why wouldn't you just say no? But listening is an issue. People want to hear you say certain things, especially when it comes to products. If you were to recommend something from the drugstore, what would it be? Nothing. Nothing. I wouldn't recommend anything. You know why? Because I don't work at the drugstore. I don't know anything about drugstore products. Yes, I've been in the industry long enough that I do know one thing. Products are about marketing. If you want to buy your products from a particular drugstore, if you turn it around, they have this great little list. It's called an ingredient list. Read it. Do your research. Go on Google. Check out reviews. You'd be amazed. People will actually tell you what they thought of the product after they used it. So you don't have to go to the drugstore and buy 8 different products. You can just Google it. If you think I've got time to Google 8 million products at the end of my 12 to 14-hour day, yeah, no, I don't. Ugh, I was a horrible waitress. Yeah, that wasn't good. I worked in a bakery. That was fun, but I got fat fast, like 2 months. I do wonder how our industry is going to change once we get back into the swing of things. I feel like a lot of people have changed during quarantine. I feel like a lot of people have had a lot of time to sit in their own filth. I really hope that we get an understanding of the value of what we do. You know, yeah, we could do what we do for free, but I wouldn't expect you to show up at your job and work for free. And if you were working for a particular company, you'd be pretty pissed if you didn't get paid for all your hours, if you didn't get your scheduled breaks, if you didn't get your benefits. We don't get benefits, which is weird. There's enough hairstylists out there that we could support some sort of program. I think one of the funniest things about being a hairstylist is when a guy would book a hair appointment with me, but he'd be bald. And then I would have to tell him how much I charge for a men's haircut. And he'd be like, well, I don't really have any hair. And then I'm like, well, why are you coming to see me then? Why don't you just ask me on a date? No. That's happened. Weddings. As a hairstylist, when you walk into a house and you start to work on the bridal party, you get to see all the dynamics, all these relationships going on around you, and it's fucking crazy sometimes. Like, sometimes I think about how tradition has really screwed up our life. Half the people in that room don't even like each other. And yet, they're forcing each other to spend a whole day together, spend hundreds of dollars in order to pretend that everybody loves each other in a picture. I don't understand. Am I crazy? I love seeing the couples that you just know. You just know that even if they didn't have the expensive outfits on and they didn't have the expensive venue, it wouldn't matter. Some of my favorite weddings have been the most simple. There was one where they just went to the Justice of the Peace. And the best thing ever is they had the groom's parents stand up for, the groom's grandparents stand up for them at their wedding. Right? And her dress was the cutest dress. It wasn't a wedding dress, it was just a fucking cute dress with a denim jacket. I'll never forget. There was this one time, disclaimer, I haven't had many brides dislike my work. I'm just saying that. This bride did not like what I was doing. I've taken out whole updos before and redone them because this is your day. I'm here to do a good job. And I'm human. So sometimes, you know, I gotta redo it. That's fine. But this one, it didn't matter. It didn't matter how much I bent over, turned myself into a pretzel, inside out, back out again, peeled my skin off, put it back on, like whatever it was that I was doing would not make her happy. She just wasn't happy. So I said, okay, go to the makeup artist because she's waiting for you. Finish up, I'll work on some of the other girls and then you come back to me, we'll revisit. Sometimes you just gotta take a break. So she did that. I'm listening to her conversation with the makeup artist and she's like, oh, la la la, oh yeah, that's beautiful. Oh, thank you so much. And I'm like, fuck. She comes back, she sits down, and I said to her, I showed her a picture. This is what you asked me for. I took a picture of her hair. I said, this is what we have. You tell me where the difference is, please, because then I'll fix it. She looked at the picture. She looked at the other picture. No, I guess it's right. You think maybe I'm right? Okay, thank you. Thank you for that validation. Do you know that that marriage was annulled? I'm gonna have lots of editing to do with this video. So anything I can do to help this industry survive and flourish, I want to be able to do that. I don't know what that means exactly. It's something that I'll figure out as I go. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful to this career that has allowed me to provide for my children. It's allowed me to have a creative outlet. I've never had to say that I don't love what I do, which is such a gift. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking this video or commenting. And remember, I have an email that you guys can send me some questions, some suggestions for future episodes, or even if you'd like to comment on this particular episode, I would love to hear from you. Okay? Okay. I'm gonna sign off now. I hope you enjoyed my little TED Talk on hairstyling. Peace out, motherfuckers.